Hello, Mount Farmers. Lately, there's been a lot of Dragonflight hype. So, in today's video, I've compiled a list of 5 mounts that I believe will be harder to obtain once Shadowlands ends and the Dragonflight begins. I made the list so you can go and get them before they become harder to obtain. And just to clarify, I will not be mentioning any of the mounts that become completely unavailable as part of my list, like Ahead of the Curve mount, Mythic Plus, Keystone mount, or the Gladiator mount. Without any further ado, let's begin. 1. The first mount is Iska's Mawrat. Iska's Mawrat drops off of Roof, Gorger of Ruins, a rare spawn that spawns in Sereth Mortis right here. There is a couple of reasons why this mount will be extremely time consuming to get in Dragonflight. The primary reason is that Sereth Mortal will be completely abandoned, most likely, or very few people will still be going there. This means that you'll see either no groups or a very few number of groups sharing this rare kill. Right now in Zereth Mortis, it is still being played by a lot of players, and you'll be able to find a group for Roof in the custom dungeon finder tool just about every 15 minutes across all of the existing layers. But if these groups did not exist, which they want in Dragonflight, you'll have to camp out the rare yourself. However, the rare has a very long spawn timer, up to several hours in some cases. Some people even speculate that the spawn is determined by zone activity, such as rare kills and world quests completed. Either way, it's got a long spawn timer, and on top of that, Roof shares his spawn with 2 other rare spawns, so only 1 out of 3 spawns will actually be Roof. So we're talking up to about 6 hours or even more in some cases before you'll even see him spawn, if you even decide to camp it out. On top of that, we're looking at a 1 to 3% drop chance, so you'll need a lot of kills if you're not lucky. In my opinion, this will be one of the hardest to get mounts from Shadowlands if you do not get it before Dragonflight. 2. The second mount I'd like to mention is also a Mawrat. We're talking about the Colossal Wraithbound Mawrat. This mount drops from Morsworn supply chests that can be found in the northernmost area of Sereth Mortis. These chests are few and far apart, and even if you play regularly, you won't come across that many of these. On top of that, the drop chance is about 1% in the chests. However, currently you can farm it rather easily by jumping between layers with the Dungeon Finder tool and looking at the most stacked spawn points for the chest. I used these spawn points for farming my mount. Simply being in the area, jumping or into every group in the Dungeon Finder tool and checking all the spots. Took around 2 hours and 160 attempts. So pretty solid farm at the moment. But once Dragonflight hits, there will no longer be organic groups in Sereth Mortis, and you'll lose the possibility to layer hub, making this farm very much more time consuming. Maybe you could say that there will be more chests active as there won't be a lot of players actively playing and opening them before you can reach them. However, I still believe that it'll be way harder and way more time consuming to obtain this mount without layer hopping. 3. The third mount on my list is Vengeance. Vengeance is the 100% drop chance mount from the mythic version of Sylvanas in Sanctum of Domination. Once Shadowlands ends, the drop rate will change from 100% to 1%, as is with all mythic and boss mount drops. The reason it'll be way harder once Shadowlands ends is the fact that we're getting a Season 4 in Shadowlands. With Season 4, we're getting yet another jump in item level, and people are going to be running around with an item level above 300. During this period, people will be super overgeared for the first version of Sanctum of Domination, and it will most likely be possible to pug the raid without too much trouble. You will obviously need to know the mechanics still, as it is a mythic difficulty mount, but it will be way easier than doing it when it was current content. So I suggest trying to get a group together around the middle to the end of Season 4 to take advantage of the super inflated item level and the still ongoing 100% drop rate before it goes away. Otherwise, you'll probably not obtain the mount until the next expansion after Dragonflight, where the raid is going to become soloable. And even then, it's going to take quite some time with the 1% drop chance. 4. The fourth mount is the Ascended Skymane from Bastion. To obtain this mount, you have to summon the Ascended Council by ringing 5 Vespers around Bastion within 5 minutes of each other. You'll need other players to do this. Since people won't be playing as much Shadowlands content, it'll be harder to find people to help you ring the Vespers. That's all the reasons for this mount. 5. And last but not least, we have Planchy. Just like with all the others, Planchy will be harder to find without the help of other people randomly encountering her or actively camping her and making a group in the dungeon finder tool to share with other people. Planchy has up to 2 hours spawn time, but you might still be lucky to find someone who already camped for a long time and made a group when she spawned. Last up is not a specific mount, however, I just wanted to mention that all protoform synthesis mounts will be slightly more time consuming to obtain, as the natural Genesis mode farm groups will disappear and you'll have to do it yourself, thus making the farm for Genesis modes a bit more slow and tedious when Shadowlands ends. That's it for this video. Let me know if you think I missed a Shadowlands mount that you think will be harder to obtain once Dragonflight releases. Also, let me know in the comments if you liked this sort of video, and let me know if you want to see a video on 5 mounts or more mounts that could be easier to obtain once Shadowlands ends instead of doing them now. And as always, consider leaving a like, a dislike, or subscribe if you want to be notified for my future content. I'm planning on making a ton of Dragonflight videos. So yeah, thank you for watching. As always, have a wonderful day. Bye.